So I already had a YouTube channel, but I'd only kind of used it for a few live videos and just a couple of promos that I'd made for a couple of singles that I'd put out, and that was kind of it. I wasn't really utilising it in any way apart from kind of storing the odd live video on there. I just knew it would probably be a good idea. That was kind of it. That was it'll be a good idea, and I used it for a couple of videos. I did an animation myself for a video of the song Grounded, which I did with Erica Knuckles, and a few live bits and bobs that I'd filmed or had been filmed and sent to me. That was kind of all I had on my YouTube channel. So I wasn't really making the most of what I could probably do with YouTube, and not even thinking about that I could do anything else with it. I wasn't that savvy on the whole YouTube thing at that point. I was very much still on the social media side of things, the Facebooks and whatnot, because that was where things were happening for me, and that was where I was finding an audience at the time. So fast forward a little while, and I decided to go and do this Endless Coastline tour. So I'd released my second album through the crowdfunding thing on Pledge, The Endless Shipwreck, and I came up with the idea that I wanted to do something to raise a bit of money for charity and just do something adventurous and different. So I decided I was going to walk the entire coastline of East Anglia, starting down just above Essex in Suffolk and walking all the way around up to North Norfolk, about 134, 140 miles. And while I was doing that, I would also do some gigs along the way. I thought that was a great thing. So I called that the Endless Coastline Tour. And I did that, and obviously I did video diaries. So that was kind of the first time that I decided that I needed to be a little bit more on the YouTube side of things. So I did a couple of trailers. I'd played around with a video diary for when I was recording the album, but I didn't really share it around much. It was up there, but I didn't do much about it. But I actually documented the entire walk, which I really enjoyed doing. Did it all with my iPhone at the time, and it was fine, and I really enjoyed coming back, and I just edited it in iMovie and kind of realised that perhaps it was something I should get into more. So then I released another song called Let's Jump Ship from the album, and what I did was I asked my fans to film themselves singing along to a part of a verse, a few lines, in any way or fashion or form that they felt appropriate, and it got some really interesting clips back. And so I then had to edit all those clips together, sync them all up to the track, and put that out. And again, that was a really enjoyable experience. And I was really kind of getting into this editing, and I enjoy audio editing, and I enjoy recording and production. So it felt reasonably natural to be doing something like that. So I did that. Put that out, and that's done really, really well. A lot of people really liked that. I think they liked the fact that the fans of the music were involved in making the video. And I just decided that perhaps, there's something in it. So more live things went up, and then kind of didn't do anything for a little while. Then I did a collaboration video with my friend Alexandra Bone, who's a photographer, and I'd done a collaboration single with a local indie label called Tontena, and put this song out called Outside. And so I collaborated on an idea that I had of me disappearing into a suitcase and then reappearing out of the suitcase in another location. So I did that with Alex. Really enjoyed that process and learnt a lot from her about that. And then carried on kind of doing my music and doing my thing, and decided once I'd started the course with Waterbear that it was actually something I'd like to get more into. I'd started watching a lot of different channels with people like Rob Chapman and the Andertons channel stuff, Rabia, and all those guys, That Pedal Show, and just finding content online that was really interesting to me, and demos of equipment which I hadn't really looked at much either, by lots of, anyone that can do these things, and varying quality. So in short, that's where I decided that perhaps it would be a cool thing to have a go at doing this myself. I felt that there wasn't much in the way of content provided by people that were like me, that were independent and making music themselves, releasing it themselves, recording, producing themselves, doing it on a shoestring budget often. And I decided that the DIY musician, which is essentially what I am, maybe it would be a cool thing to try and cover. So it would be gear and affordable gear. And I will talk about how I can make videos with an iPhone. These are the kind of things that I want to cover. So there began the DIY Musician, or the Matt Watson DIY Musician channel. The focus of the channel is to cover what I do as an independent musician, or in this case, as I've called it, a DIY musician, doing things myself. Everything from recording and producing and releasing, collaborating occasionally with other artists for things like artwork or video content, as I've mentioned. But yeah, the focus is to kind of show people that you can do it too. The thing for me was that when I was younger and I first started writing songs and playing music, and I used to go to my local pub where they had a sing-along, I think they called it, or like a folk kind of night. And I met a guy down there called Tim, and Tim kind of nurtured what I was doing and gave me the confidence to keep going. And he gave me a couple of gigs opening for his band that was a big deal at the time, paid me and watered me with beer. And I've never forgotten that, and I think that's one of the key things behind this is that I now have a wealth of experience, and I want to be able to share that as well. And I think that's a cool thing to be able to do, and something that's important to me because with the world being on the internet as it is now, with the fact that you can talk to a camera, edit it, upload it, all from home, of a good quality, and reach other people, it kind of feels like a cool thing to do. I really like the idea of being able to make content, share what I know, and hopefully encourage other people to do the same thing, to show you that you can do it too, and I think that's a cool thing. So firstly, I wasn't expecting to be doing this during a global pandemic, that's for sure. Strange and unprecedented times, I guess. Is that a challenge? Yes, it has been a challenge, but not because I've not been able to leave home. I'm studying a degree with Waterbear online and at home. We have the technology to talk to one another. We have Skype. We have social media. The internet has been a really useful tool. So, no, not a challenge in that respect. The fact that I've chosen to do a channel which focuses partly on the fact that I'm going to be demoing gear and I need to be contacting companies that make this equipment, pedals in particular, and I was looking at affordable pedals and cheaper equipment, meant a lot of the companies were from kind of Japan and China. Not great timing to get hold of those guys at the moment. Unfortunately, they've had a terrible time over there, and not many responses from those companies came back. So that was a challenge. But then I always knew that contacting companies cold and as a fledgling channel, that I was going to probably have either a lot of knockbacks or no reply at all. So, yes, a challenge, but I wasn't unprepared for that fact. What else was a challenge? Talking to camera has been a challenge. It's something that I'm slowly getting used to, slowly becoming comfortable with. I have to talk to this camera and I'm talking to you. I need to think about that. So it's a mindset. That's been a challenge because you feel silly. And when you first do it, you feel a bit, oh, I'm going to talk to you, and it's odd. That was a challenge, but I'm getting there again. It's expected, isn't it? But isn't every day a challenge, really? I don't know. I'm always learning, always wanting to learn, and part of that is facing challenges. But to be honest, as far as doing this, is it a challenge in comparison to kind of the perspective of the situation I find myself in at the moment with the global pandemic? Not really. People really facing challenges are those that are working in the hospitals and on the front line and the emergency services and putting their lives on the line at the minute. So, no, not really a challenge in that respect. An adventure. I call it an adventure. So where do I see myself taking this channel in the future? I think better quality content as I go along. I'm learning all the time. So I hope that I can make natural, interesting and reasonable quality, or great quality eventually, content, covering the things that I do and communicating that in a way that feels, or makes the viewer feel that they can, look at it and go, I can do that. This guy can do it. I can do it. That's what I want. I want that kind of engagement. I want people to be able to see what I'm doing and go, yeah, I want to have a go at that too. So that's one of the things I definitely want to come to the fore more and come more into focus when I'm doing the videos with the channel. Engaging people, exciting people, and encouraging people to want to have a go, because that's what happened to me when I was younger, and I'm forever grateful for that opportunity and that push in the right direction, if you like. It gave me the confidence. Yeah, and giving people confidence. The content itself, well, I know already doors have been opening from the fact that I've been emailing and contacting and reaching out to different companies about equipment. Bruce from Water Bear has been really integral in helping me contact Boss, for example, and Boss are going to loan me a couple of pieces of gear for me to learn, get used to, demo and review, which is fantastic. I'm really chuffed about that. That's going to be great. So there's the gear stuff, but also I'm just looking forward to sharing ideas and learning how I can communicate those ideas better to other people. I want to do video about, you can make a great promo video with an iPhone, a free software editor on your computer, and get it up online and get things done. Getting things done. I mean, that's one of the things. Showing people you can get things done. You don't have to spend lots and lots of money to get a good, creative product out there. It's good, I'm now talking to you, and I've already upgraded to a better camera. I've got a little mic that I'm talking with now. But those are just small incremental things that you can do. It's all been affordable to me. I don't have lots of money. I'm a student and a self-employed part-time worker, and I'm a musician. Money's not at the forefront of everything for me, but affordability and creativity, they're the kind of things that I'm looking at. And yes, you can do it too. That's the thing. So that's where I kind of want to take the channel in the future, is for it to be a platform for me to share ideas, nurture and encourage others to do what I've been able to do. I've been really lucky. I was made redundant in 2013, and my wife became ill and had an accident and an injury, and life flipped. It changed forever, and financially we lost everything. But from that came the self-employment and the deciding to make music part of my way of earning a living and being creative. And you know, and I tour manage part-time, and I've met incredible people, and I've worked with bands at the Hammersmith Apollo, and I've stage managed at the Royal Albert Hall. It's been amazing. I've met an Apollo astronaut. The Cure, I had a chat with Robert Smith and Billy Bragg and Alison Moyet and all these different people that I really admire. I've done that. And while I've not been rich in financial equity and whatnot, I've been really, really lucky and really rich in experience and life as a creative, artistic person. And for me, that's important. So yeah, I hope I can communicate some of that. So I understand, you know, as part of this whole thing, I've got to do an evaluation. So I'm going to do it partly in this video. Firstly, I suppose what I should say is I didn't do the normal video diaries over the process of doing this because, or firstly, if I'm honest, I'd forgotten to start diarising things. But also I was very much in the process of study. I was very much in the process of dealing with how I was going to make this channel into what it's becoming now, and making the videos. I've made 2 videos. I've done the first video was the buying an affordable guitar online and my experience of it and what I had to do to make that guitar work for me. The Fender Squire Bullet Mustang video. So that was my kind of first attempt. Then obviously my main video was to do this Fender acoustic overdrive pedal, the Smolder, and to demonstrate it in a way that I felt I hadn't seen many demos of it in the first place online, but I wanted to demonstrate it in a context of how you would use it, not just to, okay, here's the pedal, here are the buttons, here's what it does, here's what it sounds like. I wrote a 1-minute piece of music. Using both my acoustic guitars with different pickups and things like that, and running it through guitar pedals and whatnot to a drum track with a bass line and a piece of music, because I felt that was a better way of communicating what you could do with the product, if you like. And you know, I'm selling myself as the DIY musician, then part of that is a creative thing. So from that point of view, I think it's worked. I think the videos worked well in that respect. I spoke to Sam and Bruce and a few of the other students on the course, and got feedback verbally from them. Or Bruce wrote back to me, and Sam gave me some great advice on things like considering the background when I'm making videos. But positive feedback nonetheless. Ways that I could change things. I mean, I learned so much from making that, particularly the pedal video. I learned a lot from doing the guitar video, but I found that simpler because it was more about I was filming me working on the guitar and all sorts of things. But the pedal video, you kind of feel, well, I felt a slight pressure from knowing that there's so many other pedal videos out there that I needed to make it mine. So I did feel a little bit of a personal pressure on myself, created only by me, to do that. But I'm really pleased with what it turned out. I learned so much. You know, you need to do more research than I did, perhaps, or not perhaps, I did need to do more research. You need to plan a bit more than I thought I could. Being a creative person, sometimes I don't always want to plan things, because things, you know, when you write a song, sometimes you sit down with the guitar and you pluck something out of the air in that minute, and it's there. You haven't planned it. But you do need to think about what you're doing with these videos. You know, this time I'm doing this video and I've got notes here. I'm thinking about what I've got to say ahead of the time, and then talking. So not always that well planned, but no. So that was something I've learned. I just learned planning. All that stuff needs to be more detailed, more focused. So from a personal point of view, I know I need to be a little bit more focused on those things, a little bit less excitable. I was excited to do some of this stuff, and I feel passionate about doing it. So it was kind of like, let's get something done. But actually, to get something of a quality done, but hopefully still portray that excitement and joy of creating and making music and sharing this piece of gear that I really like, and I think you would too, needs to be planned. So yeah, I mean, from that perspective, it's done well on the channel itself. In the first couple of weeks, it's up in the several hundreds. So for me, it doesn't sound like a lot compared to some YouTube channel views, but I'm new. I'm a fledgling channel, so I did my research a bit as far as I went and found Facebook groups that were into guitar pedals, and it was the same with the guitar itself. Actually, I found Facebook groups that were into Squire guitars, that were into modifying guitars and that kind of thing. And I approached those people, struck up a bit of a relationship on the message boards and stuff, and shared the video. And that, I think, did help. Social media is still going to play part. I know one of the questions that I was going to answer was why YouTube and not any other platforms like Instagram. And the YouTube's the main platform because I just feel it's not just on your phone. You pick up your phone and it's this little screen here, and it's great, don't get me wrong, but YouTube, you can watch it on a TV now, you can watch it on a computer screen, you get a bigger picture, you can do a bit more creativity with it than Instagram perhaps. Instagram's very instant, flick it away, it's gone. I want it to be a little bit more than that. But that said, social media, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram are useful tools to promote and send people to that video on YouTube. So for me, that's kind of why I didn't do any of those other things. So again, evaluating things, if you like, I'm happy with the platform that I'm using. There is a definite community around the music video thing, which I was quite interested in. I've started reaching out to some people. There's a guy, Ryan, from a channel called 60 Cycle Hum. He wrote back to me. Brian Wampler from Wampler Pedals got back to me and was encouraging, as were some of the companies that I approached. Some of them were like, no, you can't have, or no, we can't give you out any free pedals. But not that I was asking for that. I was asking more when I did do the research for videos. I was contacting companies and asking them for information about how they deal with YouTubers. Some have said yes, and we're going to do something in the future. That's exciting. Boss, a company called Woodpecker Instruments, who ironically at the moment, while we're stuck here in global pandemic lockdown, they make travel guitars. Joyo pedals. I spoke to Dave there, UK guy. We're going to do something as well. So all in all, I'm happy with how things are going. I know that I can improve the video quality. I know I can improve the way I talk to camera and the content. I know that I can do those things better. I can do more B-roll shots of the pedal or the piece of equipment, or if I'm going to be talking about making a video with just a phone, I need to make sure I communicate that in the right way. So, but then, this is new to me. This is a new start. It's me starting again, not doing the gigging thing so much, being more of a digital musician. So using that amazing access that we have now to communicate to people that way. I can do performances still. During this pandemic thing, I've done performances streaming. It's gone really well. I enjoyed it actually. It was nice to do that contact. It's weird not having an audience, and I can't wait to get back on a stage at some point. But it's not going to be my key focus anymore. My key focus is songwriting, creativity, making videos and visual content that goes alongside my music. You know, I studied art before I did anything else. I was an art student, so visual art is important to me as well. But I really enjoy the music. Music won the battle, if you like. But yeah, I'm excited to take this further now. So as far as evaluating the situation and evaluating what I've done, always room for improvement. It can always be better. And I think, you know, that's the same with music anyway, and songwriting and making stuff up is what I enjoy doing. So yeah, I'm happy with what I've achieved with this project. I've learned a lot. I've certainly learned a lot of skills that I know we talk about employability skills, video editing, learning a couple of different types of software, and making things like composite shots, learning about how to portray oneself on video better, which is, you know, all about communicating. So perhaps that could lead to doing some teaching or some workshops and things like that too. So yeah, I mean, it's an ongoing process, and it's something I'm gonna keep doing, and I want to keep doing because I'm really loving it. Really, really am really enjoying it. So yeah, there you go. That's me. That's why I've started a YouTube channel. Why I've decided this was going to be my project for my professional. And yeah, you know, I've really enjoyed it.